And so today we are going to learn encapsulation in Java. So before we learn encapsulation, first we need to understand what is mean by capsulation. So what is capsule in general term? Something like this. Capsule is there and then there are some chemicals. You know that it's capsule, but you don't know that what are the chemical inside it. So let's put that through in programming and let's understand how this is. So encapsulation is nothing but simple term hiding your data. So let's read this definition. In encapsulation, a class variable are hidden from other classes and it can be accessed by the method of the class in which they are present. Now it is achieved by using two ways. First is by access modifier, second is by getter and setter. Now what are access modifiers? So there are four type of access modifier: default, public, private, protected. So let's see what is the problem first and then why the encapsulation concept comes. So int emp id, I'll declare a variable, then string emp name, I'll say another variable, then float salary, right? So these are the three variable I declare. Now there is a application class in this package, and this application class want to access employee class data. How to do that? Just create a object of the employee class inside application class. Now equals to new, and then now do one thing, call the any variable e.empid, I'll say 1, e.name, I'll say equals to, I'll give my name. Okay, now let's say I want to you know now I want to print these things. So how to do that? We have already seen that, right? So I'll just say e.empid, and similarly I'll say e.name. So right click on your project, run as a Java application. So look, I am able to run properly, no problem. Till now we are good. Now let's suppose tomorrow some other person, right now you are using this class, some other person comes and he changed this value to Bipin XRTYDD, something like this. Now saves it, and he goes and runs the program. So look, now the name Bipin has been changed to TRXYY. So what is this, guys? You have given the liberty to play with your data. Whatever that this application class wants, he can do with the employee class data. So now to have a control on your data, we go for encapsulation and we go for access modifier. So I'll mark my variable as a private, this variable as a also private, and now this variable as a also private. So look, now private has been marked. I will save my program. As soon as I saved my program, can you see here the application class started getting error over here. Now what's the error? Hover over here. So look, the visibility problem. The field employee.empid is not visible because I have made my variables as a private. So what do you mean by private? So private is nothing but only inside the class. So if you make your variable as a private, you can access that variable only inside your class. Now, okay, you said that, okay, now this class now won't be able to see this variable. Now suppose this employee class just want to read. Okay, so let's suppose in future this application class wants to just read the employee id of first employee. So how to do that? Just don't give him write access, give him at least read access. So let's how to do that. So we'll create a method. So let me create a method, public, and I'll say int, and then I'll say get emp id. Okay, and then here I'll say return emp id. That's all. That's all. Now if this class application class wants to access that what is the employee id of this the X employee. So let's suppose E dot, he'll say, okay, get emp id. Now, so we have earlier, read that if you declare any variable inside class that is global variable, the global variable will have, it gets auto initialized. So right now what value it is having? So since it's a global, so it will have a 0 value over here. Let me run my program here and see if that's true. Okay, let me print it. I'm sorry. So print this e dot get emp id. So just copy here and put it inside print method. Now right click on your project, run as a Java application. So look, 0 is right now coming because the default value in global variables are always as a 0, and for a string it will be null. Now if I want to, so I want to, have a set method also. So that I can, in this class, I can only set the value and then others can see the value. So for that, let me create a variable method. So public, I'll say void set emp id. Okay. In this, I'll say int, and I'll say, let's suppose I'll say e. Okay. And then in this I'll say this dot emp id equals to e. Now let me, if I want to give access to this guy, okay, that now you cannot directly change my, variable. You cannot change directly my variable, but you can access that variable through a method. So let me call that method e dot set emp id. Now set emp id as a, let's suppose I'll give 1. Okay. Now call this line. Okay. Now call this line. Right click on your project, run as a Java application. So look, first time if you are accessing, the value is 0. Okay. Now after the, at a point you set the value role employee id as a 1. So that time it's, if you try to access, so it will update the role, employee ID as a 1. So that is nothing but a, we call it second, type, that is by getter and setter. So that is how you can, give access to other class, that, okay, you can access that variables, if those variables are not directly. Now you say that, okay, what's the difference? They are still able to set get, right? But if you want, you can put a logic over there, right? Let's suppose we'll put a logic if here, if e equals to 1 or e equals to 5, let's suppose, okay, or just a condition, you can put anything, e equals to 3. Okay, I have given these 3. Okay, then what do you do? Then set this dot e equals to e. Okay, that's all, nothing else. Just say, it's an invalid employee id. Now go to your application class. Now set the value as a 7. Let's suppose I am giving the value as a 7 here. Now right click on your project, run as a Java application. Look, it says it's an invalid emp id. So what you have got? You have got control over here. Control you have written. He cannot now change something like that, whatever he used to change here. Initially he can assign anything, -1, -2, x, whatever. But here you're having a control over here. So what we are doing basically here, we are able to do, encapsulation. We are able to hide our data from other class, So that is nothing but encapsulation. Now there are, public, private, and, protected, and then default. Just create the variables. So how can you create the variable, guys? Just practice it. So just say int I equals, int I. So this is what? This is the default data. Now I'll say public string company name. Okay, one more variable. What is this? It's a public. Now I want to create protected. So I'll say protected, and then I'll just say, EDB. One variable I have taken. Okay. Protected, and give the type, sorry, int EDB. So this is, how you create your variables using different type of access modifier. Now you can see the access, if you want to practice, you can see the access that default. So this is a default, it will be only inside the package. So what is the package over here, guys? Encapsulation is the package. If you want to use default in oops demo, you cannot use it because its limitation is only inside the package. Now public throughout the project. So in this, what is the project is oops concept. So in oops concept, any number of project will be there, you can access in that. Now private, what is the private? We have seen here only in this class. Now protected, if you do protected, this variable you can use inside the package. That means inside this package, and you can use even outside the package, but with the help of inheritance, that is by child class. So guys, I'll just say practice, and if you get any doubt, anything, please let me know in comments. And thanks for watching, guys.